there's been one or two flashpoints, I suppose, over the last few weeks. But I have to say, there's a lot of things are blown out. I think that, again, we're on about the Mascherano, the lad Cole, but I think these players have made mistakes, and I think they've been honest enough to admit that. And I think we should give these players a break. But what you find is, particularly through the media, they'll interview ex-players, they'll probably offer them 500 quid or a grand to come out and slag somebody off, and they'll come out and they'll criticise them. But I think the modern footballer isn't too bad, I have to say. We go back, people compare them to players in the 70s and the 80s. But back then there wasn't the media coverage of games there. I know a lot of players back then who would go and try and break players' legs, and they'd hit people off the ball. But unfortunately, you make a mistake now, it's guaranteed the camera going to get you, and that's the problem. And as I said, there's a lot of hypocrites out there criticising the modern player, and there's a lot of managers out there who are hypocrites, because they're saying we've got to respect the referees, and these same managers are getting sent off themselves, And if it's not the manager, then it's their staff members. And I've been fortunate at this club where I've spoke to our staff on a number of occasions that, we don't certainly abuse any of the officials. We can appeal a decision, and we can ask the referee about it, maybe a half-time or at the end of the game. But we don't go chasing officials around or anything like that. So credit to my players for that. It's important that you do show respect to the officials. Doesn't mean you don't appeal a decision, don't get me wrong. But unfortunately, as I said, there's a lot of hypocrites out there criticising players, and they've done a lot worse themselves. So I think go easy on the players.
Not being funny, but is it hard to tell your players to do that when you maybe got involved a few times?
What I've done is, in the past, obviously, I was no angel, and I know that, but obviously you've got to try and learn from your mistakes. And as I said, I look at my own club and my own players, and again, I think we've been very respectful to officials, and I think you have to be. As I said, the problem is when I hear other managers, and I'm on about big managers, talking about respecting the referees, and these same managers have been sent off themselves for abusing officials. So it makes me sick, some of them.